I'm really excited about the upcoming season. Night Journey, I know you're bringing that back, and that's going to be wonderful. Well, you're bringing back a number of pieces from that same period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I really consider that to be Martha's golden age, the 1940s. And the 4 works we've chosen, 4 of them, 3 of them are from the 1940s. The 4th one, Chronicle, is from the late 30s. But it's Cave of the Heart, Night Journey, and Appalachian Spring. And I really consider those to be Martha's greatest works.
Well, you know, most of us consider them.
Good, I'm glad.
No, good choices, good choices. And when I saw the program, I said, wow, how powerful.
Good. Every night we're doing 4 nights, and each night is a different program.
You know why I'm smiling? Because you mentioned live music.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I have never heard the sound system in City Center sound so good.
Yes.
Is when it did your season 2 years ago, and you premiered one of Nacho Duarte's work.
Yeah, Nacho's work. And also on Adonis Poniadakis that season.
Oh, wow,
yes.
yes.
And both of those works we will perform.
You're doing Echo,
We're doing Echo and we're doing Rust.
You know what I love about both of those works? Mm-hmm. It shows, I did an article a little while ago saying the reinvention of the Martha Graham Company. And I was basically talking about how you have not turned it into a museum company. Right. You're moving it forward. And the second article I was going to write about on that same theme basically deals with the bringing in of new choreographers and how they work through the Graham technique, and it shows it off in a whole different way. It shows how solid the dancers are.
Yeah, well, and sometimes they don't use the Graham technique. They really ask our dancers to be much rangier than that and to move in ways that they're not really used to. So I think certainly Adonis Poniadakis has a very different approach. I believe that you need the core work from Graham to be able to move as quickly as Adonis wants you to.
And
but you also have to let
circles.
go.
Yes.
You also have to let go. Well, and speaking of new work, I haven't mentioned that on our City Center season, we not only have the Pontus Lidberg work on April 18th, but on April 14th, we're premiering works by Marie Chouinard and Mats Ek, the last work that Mats has created before he retires or moves on to the next phase of his career. And Marie has just done an amazing work for 8 of our women, based on a painting by Hieronymus Bosch, and it's a wonderful work, kind of commenting on gender and the intrinsic elements of gender, man and woman, and there's some big surprises. You know, Marie is so witty and has such a different take on sexuality, and I just think people should come and see every night. They should just come every night, Walter.
Well, I do. For that very reason. It's always a thrill to see a company that well, first of all, you are the premier modern dance company.
We like to think so.
Well, 90 years.
Yeah.
I mean, and basically, even when I see Taylor and other companies, you see the direct connection.
Oh yeah.
From Graham.
Mm-hmm.
Not even the movement aspect of it, but just the theatricality, the range in the work. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm into the Taylor season. They're at City Center, but just watching how the diversity, and it goes back to Martha Graham.
Well, I was just going to say that the Taylor dancers are doing a fabulous job of dancing Martha Graham's Diversion of Angels, and I attended a rehearsal there a few weeks ago, and the dancers were saying it's been so interesting to learn Martha's works because we keep saying, oh, that's where that comes from.
Yes, and you can see it.
Yeah, and they felt it. They really, embodied that pathway from Martha to Paul.
One of the nicest things that I interviewed Michelle Fleet, and she was talking about learning the choreography, and it didn't change her conception of it. She said she had studied Graham, but it's different studying it and dancing it. Mm-hmm. But what she said basically was that when learning the difference between making a rounded shape and a contraction, because they were totally different, and how that she felt that most people, when you looked at the movement, it looked like it stops, but when you do it, it basically takes you to the next place.
I mean, the contraction and the release are both really transitions. The contraction is sort of the coiling of the spring, and the release is the energy that springs out of that coil. But they're most often used to take you somewhere else. And I mean, therein lies the drama, really.
The season, you're starting on the
14th, April 14th.
And you're doing a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday.
Yes, and do you know why?
No. That's why I'm asking. I said, this is...
Why are we doing Monday, April 18th as our closing night?
Yes, I do know, but I want you to tell me. Yes, okay. I do know. Yes, I'll rephrase it.
Yes, because April 18th, 1926 was Martha Graham's first concert in New York City with a group of dancers. And we consider that to be the birthday of the Martha Graham Dance Company.
So it's 90. It'll be
90 years to the day.
That's wonderful.
And we have an amazing program. You know, I really struggled to think about how can we capture 90 years of this legacy in an evening, and you can't. But we have a great selection of some of the very early works, one of the mid-works that relates back to the early works, and we have a premiere. Pontus Lidberg is creating a work for us that's almost finished, not quite yet, that will be on that program as well. We're opening the program also with a film created by Justin Scholar called 90 Years and 90 Seconds. And he's taken images from our whole legacy, of over 250 images, and edited them so that you can, you know, fast forward through our legacy. It's really a marvelous film, and really, I think will set the tone for the evening.
But you do a lot of groundbreaking things with film. I mean, last year, the video that you opened with was incredible, and then just the clips from Lamentation, where you see not even really the dance, but just how she, with the hands, and it's just incredible.
Well, we have these amazing archives which are more and more organized and digitized, and we're looking for ways to give the public more access to them, and in the meantime, using them in as many creative ways as possible for our work on stage and for our arts education efforts. And I think you probably know we launched a new exhibit as part of the Google Cultural Institute in December. And audience members can go there and see how beautifully Oliver Tobin has curated sort of the tip of the iceberg of our archives. But you really can take a look at some rare photos and videos and information that is not available anywhere else.
And I think that's incredible. I think that is such a smart thing. We're moving away from brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And everything, one of the first articles I did on Martha Graham got almost 1 million hits in the first 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, if I had done it in print and had to worry about distribution,
Right.
Maybe 100, maybe 1,000 people would have seen it total.
Yeah.
But I had people reading that article in Japan, in New Zealand, in Australia.
Yeah.
And I was able to pull up and track it. And it told me something about where the whole world is moving in terms of access and knowledge.
Absolutely. You know, we were, for the first time ever, which is kind of unbelievable, we've been all over the world, but we were in Russia in November for the first time, and they are so hungry for information about Martha Graham. They don't have books translated into Russian, you know, even books that are now old. Agnes de Mille's biography or Martha Graham's autobiography, those are not in Russian. So they were very eager to learn. They knew the name, but they were eager to see the actual theatrical masterworks of Martha Graham and to learn so much more about who she is.
And you know, and who's your guest artist for.
Oh, yes.
We have to talk about it.
Yes.
Yes.
We have an incredible guest artist on our gala on April 18th, Aurélie Dupont. And Aurélie began to communicate with me over Instagram. She wrote a comment on one of our beautiful photos saying, "I would like to dance with Graham." So of course I got in touch with her and said, "We love it." And she came over at end of January, February, and learned two beautiful works for the gala. One is the Lament from Acts of Light, the Aurélie and 5 Men. And the other is the Gift to Be Simple duet from Appalachian Spring. And she was such a great student. She spent about 2 weeks with us to learn these things. So intent on getting the shapes right and getting the initiation from the contraction right and the use of the back. And by the end of the 2 weeks, she was absolutely charming and really an honorary member of the Martha Graham Company. She looks great.
I remember when Vishneva came with the heart,
Right.
and how fabulous that was in terms of just seeing someone who had that much ability, then transfer it into another technique.
Part of it is because both of these women are such wonderful actresses, dance actresses, and they can embrace that part of the work so thoroughly and on such a high artistic level that then the learning sort of the new pathways of the body and the shapes, the Graham shapes and sort of thing, is much easier attached to that, their artistry as dramatic actresses.
Now, so your gala is going to be on the Monday,
Right.
and you're going to have this wonderful program.
Yes. Dinner and dancing afterwards. Tickets are still available if anybody wants to contribute to the Martha Graham Dance Company and spend a fun evening with us.
Well, you all should. You will have an incredible evening. If they would like to come to the gala, there is I'm sure there's a different website or.
Well, it's a page on our website, so just come to marthagraham.org, and on our homepage you'll see a link to the information about the gala and about the season, the whole season.